good morning and happy Friday. Yay, we made it. It's Friday. It's a little bit of a rainy day here in southeastern Massachusetts, but I don't know, I kind of enjoyed waking up this morning to the sound of the rain and the birds singing. I wanted to get on here real quick and talk about a topic that a lot of us struggle with, very much me included, and that's procrastination. So lately I have been noticing, I've been very tired, not sure why, but I've been really struggling with waking up in the morning. And there are, I think I talked about it yesterday about making plans, and so I made a plan of attack on what I want to do for my business. And I still was hesitant to wake up this morning because the thing that I had to do, that I planned on doing, I was, ready to say, you know what, I'm just so tired, I'll do it tomorrow, right? There's always tomorrow. And I think what happens is when we procrastinate, it's like a coping skill, right? We use it because maybe we're feeling overwhelmed. Maybe we have some fear around what we're doing or about to do. And so there are a couple of things that can be happening that are causing you to procrastinate. I don't really think for a lot of us it's just pure laziness, right? Because I think I'm really not a lazy person. I do a lot. I'm a busy person. I'm a go-getter. I'm an goal setter and whatnot. But I think sometimes what happens is the fear maybe of not getting it done, or not getting it done to the degree that you want. I'm very much a perfectionist. I still work on that, but I'm getting better. And then the fear of, doing all this work and it not being successful. So like almost why bother, right? And, again, going back to the getting started. Excuse me, I got a little froggy in my throat. I'm gonna take a sip of my Red Bull. A new addiction of mine. I was never a Red Bull fan. I just recently started drinking them. Anyway, hopefully to get me going in the morning, right? This is a beautiful song. Run Between the Raindrops by Pat Benatar. Check it out. A little commercial in my videos now. A little advertisement. So I think I was talking about procrastination, and I kind of just lost my train of thought now. Started with the frog in my throat. I think what happens is that we feel overwhelmed, or we feel like, why bother trying? I think I said this already, and I'm trying to remember what I was talking about. One of the things about doing these videos non-edited, because I don't edit them, is that you get the raw me, you get the real deal, you get my process, my thinking process as it happens. A lot of times I don't even know what I'm going to talk about before I get on. I try to think of a couple of ideas, but sometimes I don't even know what's going to come out of my mouth, because I think sometimes that's the best, right? I think what comes out of my mouth is what needs to come out. And I try to be an influencer, and I try to spread a message, and sometimes I feel that my message comes from my higher power, and sometimes I don't have control over that. I have an idea of what I want to talk about, but then something comes out of me that maybe needs to be said for me or needs to be listened to by you. So that's what I like about these unedited videos. The bad thing is that sometimes I'm like, I get distracted. I was never diagnosed with ADHD or ADD or whatever, but I sometimes feel like I can be like that. I have those tendencies sometimes. So I think this morning, me not wanting to wake up was a lot about the fear of my business not really taking off the way I had hoped. The courses that I created, the videos that I created aren't really coming out the way that I hoped, and I put those expectations up so high, and I try not to. I'm working on that, like I said. So that I think I've become so overwhelmed with that my coping skill is just to like shut down. Like my brain is just can't take anymore, right? It's so stressed that it's like, I talk about the fight or flight, but I think they have a new one now, or they've recognized a new one now, is freeze. So sometimes we fight, and sometimes we run, and sometimes I think we get so stressed out, we just can't move. We can't do anything, right? It's kind of like the deer in the headlights, or the possum, right? If you ever see a possum that runs across the road, a lot of times it stops. That's why there's so many dead possums in the road. They freeze. They think that if they don't move, you can't see them. I think it's their defense mechanism. Anyway, so I think sometimes when I get so overwhelmed, I freeze, and it comes out as procrastination because I don't want to do anything, right? I don't feel confident. I don't think this is going to come out right. I don't think it's coming out the way I want it to. I'm never going to be successful. I'm never going to be, my videos are never going to look like the people that I'm looking at, like Mel Robbins. I love her. I love her videos. But I have to remind myself that they didn't do that on their first try, that it took years of practice, and so I'm new, and I'm practicing, and I'm doing my best, and you know what? I'm doing a good job. I am doing a good job. They might not be coming out the way I had envisioned, and maybe someday they will. I don't know. If I keep practicing on it, maybe. But so I use a technique that Mel Robbins has come out with and uses in her life, and it's the 5-second rule, and it really does help me a lot getting out of bed in the morning. It's based on science. It's backed by science. It's proven. So basically, the concept is you count down, you count backwards from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then you act. You just act. You don't think about that making your excuses. You don't think about what you can do instead. You don't nothing. Just act. Feet on the floor. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Feet on the floor. What's another hour of sleep, Doreen? Maybe if you just do something. And that's the other thing that I don't think I really invented, but a skill that I utilize is I'll just do something for 10 minutes. I can do anything for 10 minutes. I'll just get started, because a lot of times I think that was what I was talking about before I get distracted, is the getting started, right? Sometimes the getting started seems so overwhelming that I procrastinate. I freeze. So the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, it gets me out of bed, and then I just put my feet on the floor. That's my action I take. And then 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I get up and make my coffee. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I get my computer, I boot up my computer, very quickly look at my calendar and see what it is that I have scheduled to do in the morning. And because I chunk it down, so I don't even think about what I'm doing for the day. I think about what I'm doing for that moment, that morning, before I even get ready for work. So, and then I say, all right, let me look at what I have. I use my Word document. I use the microphone a lot because I kind of think, as you know, I think out loud. So sometimes I just start talking into the microphone, and it will dictate on the Word document for me, and just get some thoughts out there. And what happens more times than not is, as I'm speaking, as I'm processing, more thoughts are coming out. It's kind of like a brainstorming. Things come together, I have this wonderful app called Grammarly, which kind of fixed my grammar. Not just spelling, but sometimes it will give me what's the word I'm thinking of? It will prompt me for suggestions. It will give me suggestions of how else I want to word it, or if it's not grammatically correct or whatever. So through those processes, I actually came up with a pretty good introduction to one of my videos today, written down. So, and this came after the battle of, I didn't want to get out of bed. I wanted to procrastinate. I want to postpone, make it tomorrow. I got myself out of bed. Great. I have no idea what I want to do. I have no idea what well, I had an idea of what I want to do. I have an idea of what I want to write, because I planned it, right? I had it on my calendar. But I didn't know how to begin. I didn't know how to start. And so just brainstorming and just doing something. And I worked on it for about an hour, which is what I usually give myself in the morning to do, because I have to get ready for work and I have a job to go to. But so I'm feeling pretty good about it. So it's just a good reminder that procrastination is just a coping skill. A lot of times it's a coping skill because I'm feeling overwhelmed for whatever reason, right? And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, feet on the floor, get out of bed, and then just work at it. Just give it 10 minutes. Just kind of like brainstorm. Just do something. And if worst comes to worst, even if I didn't come out with that introduction for this morning, at least I got something accomplished. Maybe I had some ideas written down, some thought process, thinking about it, and I can feel good about getting myself out of bed and doing something, and that contributes to my self-esteem. That contributes to maybe next time I won't feel so overwhelmed. Next time I can remember, you felt like this yesterday, but you got out of bed and you did something, and maybe you can work a little bit more on it today, and because that's how you reach your goal. And I know this, right? We've talked about this before, but that's how you reach your goal. Not by making these huge monumental steps, by making these little steps, incremental steps along the way. Eventually you get to the top of the mountain. You don't get to the top of the mountain by one big leap, right? It takes these little incremental steps. And so this is a good reminder for me, and I'm glad that I have these challenges so that I can overcome them and share them with you, and hopefully maybe help someone else along the way. If you like my videos, hit the subscribe button. You can follow me on Instagram or Facebook under Recovery Enthusiast. On Instagram, I think it's recovery.enthusiast. I don't know if that's important to find me, but YouTube is Doreen Cunha, Cunha. I'm still working on my website. It's recoveryenthusiast.com, but that's coming along too. Again, little increments, moving along. Remember, stay blessed. Let the people that you love know that you love them. Send that text. Give them that call. Relationships take work. So sometimes you have to be the one that initiates the text, and that's okay. My relationships are very rewarding, and they're very much worth the work. And sometimes I just have to remind myself that. And last but not least, live your life enthusiastically, because really, there isn't any other way. Until next time, guys,